It's the beginning of the year. I'm done. In my head, I'm getting a divorce. Not a problem. Me and my girls, we keep doing what we're doing. And I get into a car wreck. Well, we're still married at this point. So the insurance company called him and said, hey, just trying to figure out when you want to get the car fixed, where you want to take it, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, so he called me. He was like, why wouldn't you tell me you got in a car accident? And I was like, for what? As far as I'm concerned, I'm divorced. I'm just needs to get the paper signed. Because life is going to keep life and I'm going to do what I need to do. So he was like, well, I'll just come and get the truck, and then you can take my truck. And I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, no, really. He was like, I need to go see the twins. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. Because they're about 7 or 8 now. I was like, yeah, probably not a good idea. So he was like, no, I'm going to go get them and just hang out so I can explain. So needless to say, I'm at this part-time job. And I had gotten let go because they were downsizing from the insurance company, and I was one of the last ones in, so I was the first one out. Not a problem. So Kiana, the oldest twin, calls mommy and calls me and says, mommy, can you please let him come back? Please let him come back. And I was like, I'm not going to have this conversation, and I'm at work. So I get off and I was PO because I was like, why would you put my kid up to, this is adult stuff. And it just didn't sit well with me. But anyway, she was just like, please let daddy come back. Please let daddy. So I told him, I said, look, I'm going to do this one last time against my better judgment. One last time, I'm done. After this, if you leave this time, if it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul, please just walk away. And don't turn back around. So he was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to be together, yada, yada, yada. So he was like, I'm going to go get us some wings. I said, okay, that's fine. So he came back. Now, this particular wing place was one of my favorite wing places. And he came through the door and that scent said, bam. And I was like, get it out. Get it out of here. And he was like, you're pregnant. Lies you tell. He was like, no, you're pregnant. Nope, I am not. He went to the store. He got 3 different types of pregnancy tests because he knew I wasn't going to believe it. True enough, I was pregnant. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a new beginning. Maybe this is why God, and I was kind of glad that he decided to come back before I found out I was pregnant because I don't want anybody to be with me because I'm pregnant. And so it kind of just worked itself out. So we went on. He went to every doctor's appointment up until we found out it was a girl. And it was never the same. In my heart of hearts, I think he realized that he had maybe done so much dirt to women that he felt like if I'm not in her life, maybe she won't get payback for it. I don't know. And I've never really gotten an answer. But anyway, he left again. Now I'm pregnant. So the only difference now was I just had no idea because I was running out of my little stash of money. And I said, before he left, I said, hey, I need you to take over the mortgage. I had the house before he moved in, but he lived there. I need you to take over the mortgage till I spit this baby out. I'm good. And he decided to leave, but he forgot to tell me that he was not paying the mortgage and it was going to the courthouse. So in the midst of all of that, I was getting ready to have a baby. My husband just left. He is now with the jump off. If you don't know what a jump off is, yeah, if you know. So he's now with the jump off and I'm pregnant. My friends had to move me out of my house. I was going to be moved out that Tuesday because we were going to move over the weekend. I was going to get induced. No, I was going to have a C-section that Tuesday or something and couldn't do it because I went into labor because I decided to go to Arby's and get me some jalapeno peppers and my daughter didn't like those, or maybe she did like them. Whatever happened, we went into labor. So I had to move out. They were moving me out before the sheriff came. Got blessed with this wonderful man that me and my other best friend were going to move in. She got laid off at the same time. We were going to move in to try to get back on our feet for a year, and then we would go our separate ways. Well, lo and behold, I went to the hospital. My other best friend called him and said, hey, your kid is here, and I told him. He was like, call me back when you get to the hospital. He went bowling. He went bowling. So she called him, cussed him out. I went on home. Child support check came the next week. I was just like, I'm good. Not a problem. As long as he's paying child support. If he wants to be in her life, I'll never block him, but I'm not getting ready to beg anybody to be in my kid's life. So went on. My best friend that I was living with got killed on 400. She evidently had a heart attack or a stroke and went into the that's my grandkids in the back, sorry, went into the oncoming traffic because there was a space there where they didn't have like a barrier between southbound and northbound traffic. So went on, and she got killed, and I thought that I was going to be homeless. My landlord, who is an angel at the time, before I got my house, said, how much can you pay? Because I told him I had to move out. So I stayed there for 3 years, but he ended up filing for divorce because now he wanted to marry the jump off. They ended up having 2 children. And then 6 years later, he decided that because he had not been in his daughter's life, and I think it was mainly because of her. If he was around his daughter, then he would be around me. And the bottom line is, how you get them is how you lose them. And so, she was insecure about that. So anyway, I went on, and as far as I was concerned, he was still my friend. He was a friend that didn't do right by me, but I'm just not that type of person. So if he called or whatever, I would listen. It was rough. I mean, she wouldn't even let him go through the drive-thru. He couldn't even get a value meal. She was like, had all the money. And so anyway, needless to say, he doubled back. 6 years later, we had a fling. He was doing the same nonsense, cheating, and we were all going to Disney World. I was taking the twins and my youngest daughter and a couple of their friends to Disney World. And so I took them all to Disney World. He went, and I told him on the trip, I am tired of the back and forth. He paid for counseling, everything. But it wasn't going to work. It was just too much. He had gotten the tattoo of her name covered up for me, had changed his number, but child, he got the number changed that morning, and some girl was calling at 2 o'clock that night. So he hadn't changed, and I just had to realize that I deserved better, and I wasn't going to settle. So that was husband number 3.